Soundwaves KPFK, the soundtrack of the World Wide Web, with your host, the Deacon is speaking on the weekend, the chicken nugget champion, inventor of the left-handed Cuban sandwich, Mr. Abraham Beltran. In studio, live and direct, the man himself, Mr. Bilal Oliver.
What's up?
How are you? I didn't really throw it to you that smoothly. How are you, sir? How's it feel to be in Los Angeles?
Oh, man, it's cool. It's cool.
This is day number 2?
Day 2.
Day 2, but you're no stranger to Los Angeles at all. Right?
No.
So you in town, you're shooting a video, right? For
Restart. New single on a new record coming out. Paradise Revenge. Should be dope.
Yeah, man. So that's going to be an all-day venture tomorrow. Thank you for coming through. I know it's 10:23 in the p.m., so hopefully we come correct with this here interview.
Well, I got my Snickers, so I'm good.
That's my my insurance policy. So I wanted to kind of take people back to the beginning because I was doing my research, and I noticed a lot of people didn't really touch on this, but you started singing at the age of like 3, right?
Yeah, like 3, 4.
Now, what was playing on the radio in those days in your household?
Shit, I don't remember. My mom was really religious, so the earliest I could think back that she like backslid and listened to some other stuff was like Denise Williams. Like she was big into Denise Williams, and I remember Luther Vandross probably. But I got all my like raunchy stuff from my uncle.
Really?
Yeah.
Raunchy in terms of who?
Who he listened to. Like he liked Funkadelic, and he liked Ohio Players, and Earth, Wind and Fire, but his main thing was Parliament, and he knew all the lingo, and all of that stuff.
The whole story of
clones. The clones. He was into, Oh man, I remember when we went to the show and I was so fucking high. Oh, can we say that on the radio?
It's all good. We'll edit it out. It's okay. Fuck, bitch. Yeah, it's cool.
Shit.
Yeah. That's the beauty of pre-recording. Now, what ages was this? Was this about, 8, 9, 10?
Yeah, this was probably around 10. When I first started really understanding, But, early on it was just, oh man, get him to do Michael Jackson. I had the glove, the jacket.
So the showmanship was already a done deal.
I had to. I was the gesture.
Did you come from a big family, or?
Hell yeah. My grandma had 12 kids.
Damn.
So I had mad aunts and uncles.
And everyone kind of lived in close proximity in Philly?
Pretty much, North Philly, West Philly, kind of family.
When you were kind of, I tend to think that people in the junior high school years, that's when you kind of decide, like, I might want to do this myself. What were you listening to in those junior high years?
Junior high years, I was a church boy.
Really?
Yeah, man, I was a church boy. I was singing in choirs, and filled with the Holy Ghost.
Was singing secular music seen as a bad thing, or was it not a problem in the house?
Nobody really made me religious. It just kind of happened, I just got mad religious because I was in a lot of like choirs, and it was an avenue to sing a lot, so it just happened like that.
And then were you singing in high school in choirs still as well?
For like a year, then I got turned out with some new friends, and they led me astray from the Lord. But I got into like jazz a lot in high school because I went to a performing arts school, so I kind of started off vocal major, dressing like Boys to Men and stuff, and then I just realized that jazz musicians were a lot more hipper. So I just started to cut a lot of vocal classes and hang out with jazz musicians. But everybody hated singers, all the jazz musicians. They thought singers were stupid. Like, singers don't know keys. They don't know what tempo they want to sing in. They're just divas. And you're a boy and you want to sing. What are you, gay?
Oh, wow.
So I was like, no, actually, I play piano, but I didn't. But I always had a good ear, like a good ear. Like I could hear things, pinpoint accuracy. So like after like being ragged on for like a year, I knew just as much as theory as they did. I knew just as much chord changes as they did, and man, they started to come to me like, I got melody in my head. You think you can find changes for this? I was
really?
Like, yeah, dude.
Were you picking it up through records, or were you seeing live performances? Or?
I was picking it up through records, just listening to them talk about stuff, like, you know, and they would try to talk in code, but I had good memory, so I would just go and ask questions and stuff. And my dad, his best friend owned like most of the jazz clubs in Philly. So my pops started to take me to the clubs with him.
This is like what ages?
This was like beginning of high school, like end of elementary school. My pops was like, because my pops is Muslim.
Oh.
So his whole thing was, you shouldn't be on the damn choir anyway, boy.
Oh.
So, you know, let me hit you, John Coltrane, and all this, and, you know, my funny thing, my favorite thing, boy, this is it.
Yeah.
So, as a young kid, I just started to develop that love, and my pops was so G, you know, whenever we would go, they would call him Mr. Wonderful, and, you know, we slap five, Mr. Wonderful, who's this little kid? You know, he got to sit in the closet. But, you know, that started my love for Cranberry on the Rocks, and I would just sit there and be like, Pops, I'm going to have my own band one day. We going to be in here playing. He's like, what do you think, you're a monkey? Be a manager and own a club. I was like, no, I want to be in a band, you know. Now my Pops he's brags to all his friends, like, you know, my son's too big to play in these clubs.
He just skipped over.
I'm like, yeah, I thought I was the monkey. He's like, no, son. You have a chance to change things. Just don't think like one, even though you are one.
Well, when so you're in these clubs at the ages of 16, I mean, you kind of compare to your friends. Like, are your friends nowhere near your level in terms of like how deeply you're immersed in jazz? And because even though you're going to a music school, like, were they still kind of posers? Did you kind of see in comparison to the kind of crash course you were getting? Because you're getting the coursework, and then you're getting like this real world, you know, taste as well.
Well, nah, because Philly is one of those places where the old musicians love to cultivate young cats, you know. So, man, those cats, they got it good, you know. It was me that was the vocalist that always looked at like an idiot. Like, I really had to prove myself, you know.
Yeah.
So I just developed a love for like scat singing and stuff, you know. Bebop, see, I can hear the changes, you know. And eventually, I started to get that type of respect, and I would just bring my friends with me to the clubs. They started to think I was cool, because I could get in, you know, and be like, oh man, Chris McBride is playing, but I wish we could go. I'd be like, I'm going. So, you know,
these are 21 and over spots, obviously, right?
Yeah. I got my first gig playing in a jazz club, Blue Moon Jazz Cafe, when I was 15 going on 16. I got my first gig with the Orrin Evans Jazz Quartet. I was the vocalist.
Now you originally, I think I read this right, hopefully I did, I interviewed Evelyn Champagne King, also from Philly, and I came with some facts, and that was completely wrong. So she checked me like, like no, that's not right. I read that you originally wanted to do movie scores. Is that right?
Yeah. For a minute, definitely. But I just didn't have the equipment. But I always hear music like epic like that. So
you ever find yourself?
I just haven't gotten a chance to do yet.
Because I love doing this. You probably do this too. Like when you're driving around a car, you're sitting shotgun, you kind of see yourself like in a music video, like, damn, I know what the perfect song would be for this right now.
Mm-hmm.
You see some kids playing or some kids skateboarding, like, damn, tracking with this kind of shot. What now? Did you do music in the university level as well, or was it just in high school?
Oh yeah, I went to New School Social Research in New York for about 2 years, so that was cool too.
Did you? But this was So were you living in Philly and just doing school and then going back to Philly when school was out of session?
No, this was college. I moved to New York. I moved to New York when I was around right after graduation, actually, on graduation day.
Right away.
I showed up with my suitcase, and actually, the cat that got me my first jazz gig, I moved in with him that night, like, cause he lived in New York.
Spontaneously, or was that pre-planned?
Pre-planned. I saved up my money, and I bounced.
Who musically? I mean, who did you kind of first link up with in terms of actually trying to lay some stuff down and record it and whatnot?
It was really ironic, but when I first got to the school, I made friends with this cat, Robert Glasper, and we were like the college radicals, crazy cats, you know. I was like the cat that would raise my hand like, dude, are you really trying to say John Philip Sousa started this shit? You know what I mean? I was like, I grew up around jazz musicians, and they didn't tell me that, you know what I mean? So I got my first gig from the guy that started the jazz program at that school, Arnie Lawrence. He's passed away now, but he got us our first gig at this place called Sidewalk Cafe in New York, and our gig started like 3 a.m. And ironically, Aaron Coleman was the drummer, and Aaron Coleman was the drummer from Spin Doctors, this rock group.
Yeah.
And this cat could play the hell out of jazz. He sounded like Tony Williams, and we didn't know, like, cause I every year I learned more and more music. You know, I grew up in just church really, so every year I learned more. My vocabulary kind of grows, and me and Rob go to this cat's house, and he's rich. Like, he's got a full-blown studio in his basement.
Yeah. Like,
he lives in this humongous loft right next to, like, Parsons School of Design. I'm like, yeah, dude, you're rich as hell. Who are you?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I played a rock band, Spin Doctors. I'm like, who the hell is that? Like,
prove that.
But, you know, to stay up, I just started laying songs down at his studio until it was time to go to the gig. And they kind of, at the early point of them, they really kind of sounded like Steely Dan type of vibe, because we were like jazz kids, like him influencing us to play in different, you know, because we were like jazz puritans, like, he's like, come on, man, let's put some backbeat on this, you know.
You're a man after my heart. Steely Dan is my favorite.
Hell yeah.
The Asia classic albums, BBC joint, is like, when they sit down and go through, I mean, they're geniuses, man.
Definitely. I love the way they mix everything, you know. And that was like our first experience of doing stuff like that.
So you're doing Steely Dan type stuff on.
Yeah.
Instead of being a New York transplant singing about missing home, you were a Philly boy in New York.